Hey all, this is Logo Hunt 3, and today we're going to start talking a little bit about the actual design process, what you're going to be doing while you're working with your designer to get your logo. So, start the thing, here we go. Okay, so you've got your samples, you've got your colors, you've got your words and your phrases that you're going to use to describe to the designer what your logo and what your brand is going to be about. So you've evidently have found a designer through one way or another. There's lots of different ways to do it. If you're interested, maybe we can put together a video about that, but need lots of comments saying, how do I find a designer? So there you go. So you found a designer and you've talked to them and you've looked at their portfolio and you made sure that the type of art that they do is the type of art that you're looking for. Look at who they've talked to or who they've worked with before, and if possible get references, because that will give you a pretty good idea of how the designer works. You can talk to that person about the process for each designer. Everybody's a little bit different. And so the things that I'm going to give you are hopefully kind of broad strokes ways to get through the design process. So you've got your colors, you've got your words, you've got the idea. You can talk easily about your brand for at least 5 minutes. And so now you're ready to start the process. So you've chosen your designer, you've talked with them, and you've come to an agreement before anybody starts how many times they're going to show you logo possibilities and options, and how many major revisions are going to be available. This is really important, not only for the designer but also for the person who wants to brand their stuff. You need to be able to put a limit on the number of times you go back to the well, primarily because if you don't, people will always go back, oh, what about this one? What about this one? What about this one? Trust me, I did it. And I know that that's one of the things that you're supposed to be on the watch for. I would say 3 major revisions is, you don't really want to go past that. If you don't have something in 3, no, you'll get something in 3 major revisions. Minor revisions for colors, shades, fonts, no problem. But don't keep going back to the well, as they say. Get a good layout set of designs and then work from what you get. As long as you're happy with the material, you can change direction, major direction, in those 3 designs, and that's fine. But don't go crazy. Don't change direction each time you go back, because basically what that says is you haven't really thought about your brand and you haven't really thought about what you need to get out of your brand and what the logo and design is going to do for you. So you want to make sure that that's ready before you start. You're going to start with a good consult. You're going to spend a little bit of time in email or on Skype or on the phone or face-to-face talking with the designer about what colors, what the theme is, what the theme for the brand is supposed to be, what your words are, and how you want your brand to be expressed, right? And then let them go do their work. And in a couple of days or weeks or whatever timeline you've set up, they'll come back and have a few ideas, and that will help put you in the right direction. The song is going to be a consultation with the designer, little bit of modification. Consultation with the designer, a little bit of modification. Consultation with the designer, a little bit of modification, and you should have some good choices at that point. From then on, make sure you know what's working. Find the images that the designer brings to you that you like. Make sure that the imagery and the fonts and the colors are what you want your brand to be. If it's not, then make some suggestions. Get onto sites like fontsquirrel.com. and take a look at some of the fonts they have there. There are lots of sites like this that you can get free use or open license use fonts that you can use in designs. The designer that I was working with, Gary at NaturalOutlook.com, gave me some really good font recommendations. And so let me pull up the samples of the font, and that way you can see a little bit of Gary's design process for mine, and I can talk a little bit about what we have going on. So let me pull that up because I didn't. Okay, so here we go. This is where we started. We had the chill and kansai words to go with, and the colors that I gave Gary were white, blue, and black. And we started with this to kind of get he started with this to get the general feel for where the words and the colors and how the colors are going to work together. One of the earlier designs, beginning in the development, went to this one here. And then the first major set of treatments that he gave me, we had this chill and kansai, with a slightly different font. This one here that had most of the earmarks. He wanted to. I liked the chill with the L's, and the idea of that rising sun back behind the kansai area. The placement of it I liked a lot because it was a little different from what you usually see Japan-oriented businesses, companies, personalities. So next we had the blue versions of the logo. And you can see that the I said to switch around. That was one of the options that he gave me, and I'm like, oh, I like that. And we still have the big red Hinamaru in it, but it was reduced down to just fit the I over kansai. That way it gives it a hint at Japan and that flavor that I was looking for, but isn't overpowering, right? So we have this one here. That has the dot more prominent and the in on the other side balancing out chill and kansai. At this point we're still in the eyebrows stage. My eyebrows aren't as prominent as they probably ought be, but then we're going to move on. Gary was thinking about, all right, chill, and he knew that one of the aims of this channel was going to be doing snowboarding reports. So he's like, oh, well, ski goggles. Yeah, and we'll just throw some ski goggles on, and this is what we had with that. I really liked this one, the chill in blue with the slidey L's and the in on its side. You got the dot on the I and the dot on the kansai. The font gave us a nice view of, kind of has that Asian modern tech flavor, which is I really liked. Plus the goggles are really set off with the black around, as you can see there. So the next set was all white background. See, I can't actually turn and see these. I gotta put them in later. But all white with the background, and we've kept the red dot on the I, and the font is good. And then we went in much more back to the circle motif. These were really hard to decide between. I really like this version of Chill and Kansai with the blue. I really liked just the beard, this one back here. I really enjoyed all of these. They're fantastic work. We've got the earring in at this point, back from it came in with the ski goggles. And then we moved back to the slightly less tech version, the round, I liked the slightly round version of it. It gave it a more full feel to it. It's a little bit more sideways. It's spread, well, you can see, it's spread to the left and right a lot more, and as opposed to up and down. But the nice thing about this logo is it gives me the opportunity to have the logo as a standalone or with the name. So these are all by courtesy of Gary at NaturalOutlook.com. I really appreciate him letting me use these to help hopefully show you guys what the process looks like. So this was all and parts of how Gary was putting together the logo, and he spent a lot of time on really a lot of tweaks. I had to change the font a whole bunch of times, And the samples that he gave me throughout the process were fantastic and really, really difficult to choose from. So when I say you need to narrow down to 3 logos as soon as you possibly can, I mean it. These were really hard to choose from, and any of them, the first treatment sheet, any of them would have been fantastic. But so as you can see, the choices can be really, really difficult as to which way you want to go with it. So that is the official Chill and Kansai logo. You can find it on my Twitter channel. You can find it on YouTube. I'm very, very pleased with it. Okay, back to the thing. So one of the things you want to be aware of is scope creep. Make sure that you're not asking too much of your designer. Remember, they're human, they're artists, they got to make a living. You can't keep going back and back and back. They need to be able to do your project and then move on to other projects. So out of compassion for them, make sure that get it narrowed down as soon as you can. Particularly if you can find an element in the logo, in the initial logos that you like, that you can really focus on. It will help you and them give you a better product sooner. So once you finalize it, you can make some minor changes, font spacing. You could probably change the font at that point, but don't go too crazy because everything kind of works together, right? So now that your logo is chosen and done, you want to make sure, you want to think about a couple of things. Your logo should be able to work in the colors it was designed, and it should also work in reverse. So my logo is great because I can go white on blue or blue on white. The idea of the brand eventually should be able to, the logo should be able to stand on its own. The really iconic brands, you see it, you don't even need to see the name of the company, you know it immediately, right? Brands like FedEx have the little arrow that are hidden away between the E and the X. You have to look it up because I'm not going to put it up. I don't want them to take it down. So, and I don't actually happen to have a FedEx box around, but trust me, the little white arrow is there, and they guard it jealously, even though it's kind of an accident of type. Anyway, just my opinion. All right, so you want it to be recognizable by just your logo. And when you get your logo done, make sure that you have it done in vector graphics, because that way it is going to be infinitely resizable, and you don't have to worry about the jaggies that you get with the JPEG images. So you're going to have 2 things that you need to pay attention to as far as where you're going to use your logo. Make sure that the logo for web has a good RGB. It's in the RGB space. RGB stands for red, green, blue. These are the colors that blend together in your monitor to make those beautiful pictures that you get on your computer, and also on television and screen, big screen. If you're going to print, you're going to be doing the printing in CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, and K is black, because B is confusing, right? So you want to make sure that you understand that the colors that are on the screen and the colors that are in print probably will not be the same unless you go with something like Pantone, which is a color matching process where the color on the screen and the color on the print is the same. It usually costs a little bit extra to do at a printer, but not always. Depends on your printer, you'll have to check. But Pantone is one way that you can match colors between screens, projected light, and print, which is reflected light. Also, the colors between the Mac and the PC will look different. The PC will look a little bit more washed out than the colors on the Mac, so be aware of that. That your logo is going to have slightly different colors between showing up on a Mac and showing up on a PC. It's just the way that they deal with the web-safe colors. If you have a color calibrated screen, it shouldn't matter, but very few people actually have those. Let's see if there's anything else. Double check to make sure that your logo isn't inadvertently really close to somebody else's. There are copyright issues that are involved with that. Check with your lawyer. I'm not entirely sure how to describe them safely without getting either you or me in trouble. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't really give you that good of advice as far as that goes. However, double check to make sure that the logo is original work, and your designer should be able to describe their process of coming up with their logo to you without any difficulty. Yeah, well, that's about it. I will say that this has been an excellent process. I have to give another huge thanks to Gary at NaturalOutlook.com for letting me use the treatment GIFs for the logo so you can see how my logo has developed, and also for his guidance through this process. He made it easy, painless, and it was a great deal of fun being able to, it was just excitement to be able to see what the next set of logos was going to look like and what the changes were going to look like. So thank you very much, Gary. I really appreciate all the hard work that you've done on it, and looks great. I'm really happy. So if anybody else needs work done, NaturalOutlook.com, go talk to Gary and see what you can do. So thanks for everything, and if you have more questions, go ahead and leave questions in the comments. If there are enough questions to put together a video, I will do my best to answer the questions and dig into Gary's knowledge bin as well, if possible. I don't want to take too much time away from him. If you do have questions or comments about the process, please leave them in the comment section below. And if there are enough comments or something really catches my eye, maybe there will be a logo hunt 4. If there's anything about this process that you have questions about, please don't hesitate to leave a comment, and I will ask around and see what we can do to try to answer your questions. Thank you again, and we'll see you later.